Your nervous system is keeping score of what's happening in your relationship. Every time your partner explodes and then acts like nothing ever happened, every time you walk on eggshells waiting for the next eruption, and every time you shrink yourself smaller just to keep the peace, your body is keeping track of all of it, and it's changing you at a biological level. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your nervous system when you are in a relationship with someone who runs hot and cold, someone who creates chaos and then blames you for reacting to it, and someone who pulls you close and then shoves you away so hard you don't even know which way is up anymore. Now, some of these people in your life doing this might be running trauma patterns that they don't even understand. Other people are doing something darker. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one you're dealing with, and you'll understand why your body has been breaking down in ways even your doctor can't explain. Now, some of you might be thinking right now, Adam, maybe I'm just being too sensitive. Maybe I'm the problem. Here's what I need you to understand right now. If you're asking that question, then you've probably been told that for years by your partner, by yourself, maybe by people who never understood what you were actually going through. Now, the fact that you are questioning your own perception is itself a symptom of what we're going to talk about here today. If this is your first time on the channel, hello. I've spent years helping people understand why they keep ending up in the same painful relationship cycles. A significant number of these people are women, and also men, surely, in exactly this situation. Highly capable and holding everything together on the outside while slowly disappearing on the inside. I've watched my clients describe symptoms that their physicians can't explain because medicine doesn't really have a diagnosis for your relationship is literally poisoning your nervous system to death. By the end of this video, you will understand 3 key things. First, exactly what's happening in your brain chemistry and nervous system when you are in this kind of a relationship, and how it shows up in your body in ways that will shock you. Second, why you feel like you're losing yourself every time you get connected to a partner, and why that's not a metaphor, it's biology. And third, how to tell the difference between a partner who is dangerous and needs to be left behind versus a partner who's just workable but scared, and how to learn the right skills you need to build a relationship that can last and feel safe for both of you. What I'm about to explain is going to change how you understand everything that's been happening to you, and it starts in your neurochemistry. Your nervous system has 2 main operating modes that you need to be aware of. First is your parasympathetic. This is called rest and digest mode. This is where you feel calm, connected, present. This is where a bonding hormone called oxytocin flows. It's not blocked because you're supposed to be sentimental and gentle and connected. This is also where you release human growth hormone, so your body begins healing and also growing stronger muscles. This is where you actually bond with other human beings, by the way, in the parasympathetic mode. Now, if any of that sounds foreign and alien to you, you probably spend most of your time in the other operating mode, sympathetic nervous. This is fight or flight. This is your body endlessly preparing for danger. Now, here's the problem. When you're in a relationship with someone whose behavior is constantly unpredictable and they're volatile, where safety one moment becomes chaos the next, where you can never fully relax because you don't know what the next explosion is coming, your sympathetic nervous system gets stuck in the on position. Your body is not designed to be chronically stuck in the sympathetic nervous system. Let me walk you through what happens biochemically when you are stuck chronically in the sympathetic nervous system mode. First, cortisol. This is the main stress hormone. In a normal situation, cortisol spikes to make you care. Cortisol is the you should care about this and pay attention hormone. It restricts some of your dopamine. It washes away some other bonding chemicals. It blocks your oxytocin, so you shouldn't be emotionally bonding during that time. It does a number of things, but it forces you to care. It forces you to pay attention. The more of it you get, and especially when it's coupled with adrenaline, the more hyper-fixated and fearful you become. But if you're living in chronic unpredictability, cortisol stays elevated because there could be a bear around any tree ever. There is always the possibility of another danger coming, and you don't know when it will come, and you have to be prepared for it at a moment's notice to react instantly, to limit the damage as much as possible. So your baseline shifts upward. Now, when you have chronically elevated cortisol daily, it does many terrible things to your body. Number one, it suppresses your long-term immune system. This is why many people get sick more often, why you might have autoimmune issues that doctors can't explain, why your wounds heal slower. It disrupts your hormones. Estrogen, testosterone levels drop. Did you know that men today have an estimated 30% drop in historical testosterone, way lower than we've ever seen? Did you know that 30% drop in testosterone is strongly correlated with chronic, ongoing stress? Even men in their 30s can experience this. Fertility issues for women, breastfeeding issues for women, your libido disappears. It blocks your oxytocin receptors. This is the main bonding hormone for non-stress bonding, for intimacy, for sharing, for connection. When cortisol is high, your brain cannot receive the signal that says, that person's safe, I should bond with them. When you release oxytocin, you also release something called GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. GABA. Look it up. Highly recommend you do some research on this. GABA is the signal that suppresses cortisol to calm your nervous system. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter that just shuts it down. Most people in relationships where they're chronically activated, stressed, right? Biologically stressed, they have very low oxytocin, very low GABA. You know what low GABA looks like? Chronic muscle tension, jaw clenching, teeth grinding, shoulders up around your ears, a tight feeling in your chest that never goes away. High oxytocin synthesizes high melatonin so that you can sleep deeper at night. Chronic lone ape problem. You're not supposed to sleep deep at night. Now, we talked a little bit about serotonin earlier, but let's talk more about that now, that contentment chemical. Most of your serotonin usually comes from positive social interaction with other people. Hunter-gatherers, it was from sitting around, talking, sharing, laughing, patting each other on the back, wrestling, playing with the kids in the tribe, connecting to each other, sharing stories at night, sitting around the campfire, bonding, laughing. We're not getting much of that today. When was the last time you sat around a campfire with the people who love you? When you're in chronic survival mode, you're not producing serotonin through connection. The lone ape sitting in the forest surrounded by predators is not supposed to feel content and fulfilled and bonded. He's supposed to feel depleted, probably like you feel depleted. Here's what I see when a lot of women come into my coaching practice with these challenges after years in these dynamics. First, chronic pain. A lot of chronic pain throughout their body, especially in the joints, the base of the skull, crushing headaches, eye headaches, ocular migraines. Their body is hurting and achy because it's reorienting everything just to survive, and has been for a long time. Migraines, headaches, digestive issues that never resolve. Here's one thing that surprises these women. If they've been with a partner for 10+ years, they often have a cancer scare, especially reproductive cancer scares. Not stage 4 terminal cancer, usually. Something smaller, usually. Maybe it could be the thyroid, right? It could be ovarian. It could be anything else. But something smaller, a cancer issue that just won't go away. Something the doctor catches and says, well, we don't really know how you got this, and it's small enough we can deal with it, but it's just there, and it could be stress-related, we don't know. The problem is that their body has been in such extreme chronic heavy cortisol flood that the doctor isn't tracking, and probably since childhood, but especially in this relationship, that cancer risk increases significantly. Your body is constantly producing cancer cells, but your immune systems are supposed to filter them out and kill those cells and remove them. When your immune system is chronically suppressed for stress, guess what doesn't get cleaned out as much? A lot of these women have things like fibromyalgia, all kinds of other issues. Many of them have cysts, some have reproductive issues. All of these extensive medical issues they're dealing with, their doctor usually can't tell them why. When we start talking about the actual impact of what they've been living through, they start drawing connections for themselves. Wow, this might explain everything. Now, here's what nobody really is willing to tell you. If you have a partner who narcissistically abuses you, you probably had parents who were too and did that. This could be your second husband, your boyfriend after your marriage fell apart, whatever it is. Your parents and your first spouse, your new partner, all are probably running similar patterns, even if it's not exactly the same. How you adapt and survive probably is the same, and it feels normal to you because it's all you've ever known. Many women in their 30s and 40s start to feel an endless, degrading feeling in their body, always exhausted, always hurting, some kind of digestive issue that just won't resolve. In their 40s especially, the chronic headaches intensify, cancer scares especially start showing up here. In their 50s, the body feels run down and extensively damaged. Your nervous system's been keeping score your entire life, and it's starting to give out on you. Now, as if giving you cancer young wasn't enough, there's also something I call the disappearing self. You probably used to know who you were. You had opinions, preferences, you knew what you wanted, you could make decisions. Somewhere along the way, that started to fade. Now, this wasn't in your imagination. Your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, and fight doesn't work. Flight isn't an option. There's a third response that kicks in. Well, the third response is what happens. Fawn, F-A-W-N, fawning. Fawning is people-pleasing on a neurological level. It's your brain calculating, the safest thing I can do right now is become whatever you want me to be. So you start suppressing parts of yourself, maybe not consciously at first, maybe, but it happens almost automatically. Your opinions become whatever you think. Your needs, if you even knew what they were at all, become invisible, because expressing them creates conflict. You just let it go. Your preferences disappear because having preferences is risky. Now, here's something most people don't understand at all about how this dynamic actually works. Narcissistic abusers have to leverage oxytocin bonding. They use it strategically because oxytocin creates safety, belonging, and compliance. It bonds you to them. Narcissistically abusing people, they weaponize this against you. They withdraw from you on purpose. They punish you, they hurt you and devastate you and make you afraid. They pull away after flooding you with connection. It's biochemical withdrawal. It's biological weaponization. It's agonizing at a cellular level. Now, here's the real trap. When most women say, well, he's such a great guy except for the 90% of the time, but that's when he's real. In those moments when he's loving, that's when he's real. Everything else is fake. I just pissed him off somehow. That's when he's real. A lot of women think that that good, loving version they saw at the beginning, somehow that charismatic, oxytocin-flooding version of him, that's his real self. Everything else is fake. Everything else is just when he's stressed, or it's my fault, I'm not figuring out what to do. Sometimes he explicitly tells you this. He reinforces it. You make me act this way. If you would just do blank, I wouldn't have to blank. So your concept, your model becomes, I'm chasing this one real version of him that I can never hold on to, and it's my fault. That's what keeps you on a cycle of what's called intermittent reinforcement, gambling addiction. The small hits keep me chasing. The freeze response happens, usually from a narcissistic abusing parent, where nothing you ever did was good enough. You couldn't fight back because you got it 5 times worse. You saw what happened to mom, you didn't want that to happen to you. You couldn't run away, they could chase you, and where would you go if you were 3 years old? Even pleasing them wasn't enough sometimes, so you created a freeze response to lock it all down and not get hurt. In adulthood, freezing still kicks in when nothing else is working, when the fawning isn't working anymore, when the panicking isn't working, when the self-erasing isn't working, when the pleasing isn't working, when the other person is just having a bad day and has decided it's going to be your problem, when they've decided they're going to go after you no matter what. It will never make them calm down until they feel better. At least for the first hour or 2 or 5, they're just going to go. Nothing you do creates any forgiveness at all. They just keep pushing on you until they feel better. This is what the freeze response is for. It's learned helplessness, by the way. Nothing I do is enough. I'm just going to freeze up. Dorsal vagal shutdown in my vagus nerve. Wait for the damage to be done. Now, I need you to hear this right now. If you've been calling yourself stupid for staying, if you've been wondering why you can't just leave, if you've been judging yourself or going back again, and again, stop. This is brain chemistry. This is neurobiology. This is your survival system doing exactly what it was designed to do under these circumstances. The fact that you are still standing, still functioning, still alive, and still showing up for your life, despite what your nervous system has been through, that is incredible. But I also need to talk to you about something that might be even harder to hear. If you have children with this person, their nervous systems might be recalibrating too. They might be learning to be scared, learning they'll never be safe, learning to stay out of visibility so the abusive parent doesn't come after them. Everyone in the household learns to comply or hide, or sometimes get more aggressive and push back viciously. Maybe not as often, but just as bad. Usually they try to run away. They try to hide, be invisible, form little alliances, withdraw, cover everything up, whatever they can do. Your kids might come out avoidant. They might come out anxious. They might come out disorganized when it's just not enough. Both of them. They can come out quiet, disorganized, and completely erase their presence at every moment. The pattern, though, is always the same. People minimize themselves or shut down relationships so they can be safe and get through. Now, if you've watched so far, you could be in tears. Some of you might, because this is very real. But if you've watched so far and this is sounding like you, I need to give you something practical to do. I don't want to leave you in this moment. I also want to make sure that you understand the reality of a situation, because not every man running these patterns is exactly the same. Some are dangerous, and you need to get away from them for your actual biochemical, medical safety. Some who push these patterns are workable if they get the right help. Here's how you can tell the difference, if you want to tell the difference. The first factor I look for in these relationships is contempt. Does the person who's doing these behaviors have raw contempt for you and others? Do they not even see you as human beings? Do they mock you? This is one of the biggest signs of a true narcissistic abuser. Do they look at you like you're beneath them, like you're an object, like your humanity doesn't even register? That is very different from a man who's just dysregulated, maybe erupting. Dysregulation usually looks chaotic. Contempt looks nasty. And I don't even mean passive-aggressive. I mean, you are not a human being. Why would I care if you're hurting? Another sign I look for is lucid moments. I'm talking about moments where they actually calm all the way down and then start questioning their behavior. They're trying to get better, even if they don't know what to do. They say, I really don't like the person I am. I'm not sure what else to do. I get so frustrated, but I hate it. If they genuinely have that, and I don't mean moments where they get called out and you finally have leverage against them, so now they pretend to have remorse, I mean moments where it wouldn't benefit them to have remorse, but they actually go into it, and they look genuinely, honestly confused. That might be a person who has a conscience. That might be workable. That might be a nervous system issue. A true narcissist that I've worked with, and I've worked with some extensive ones, they don't usually have a conscience. They don't really have those moments. They don't second-guess them. They have genuine armor against it. They believe their behavior is right and the only possible path, so they don't bother questioning it. Sign number 3 is respect for human dignity. Does he actually view you as a human at all? And this is even beyond contempt. Does he treat you like a human or like an object to push around and push buttons on? This might show up in small moments, how he talks about you to others, how he talks about others to you, whether he considers your needs at all, even imperfectly, whether your suffering registers as something that even matters to him. Does it shock him that someone, somewhere, would care that others are in pain? That's a sign. And finally, this is the darkest one, sign 4, enjoyment of pain. Does he laugh at it joyfully? Does he seem to enjoy it when you're suffering, when he's inflicting pain on you? Is there satisfaction in his eyes? I remember one session I had, and I used to work in correctional facilities. I remember one gentleman I worked with who had a cell phone, and his partner called, and he looked at me in one of our earlier sessions and said, "Watch this." And he started a fight with her over the phone in a matter of seconds that got her crying, saying, "Why are you doing this to me?" and he put it on mute so he could look at me and laugh because he thought we were going to share a funny moment. That's a narcissistic abuser. Typically, it's also what we call a sociopath or even a psychopath who enjoys the suffering of others, a sadist. A true, loud, disorganized attachment-style man who's running trauma patterns usually feels terrible after he explodes. He'll feel shame. He'll hate that he did it, even if he does it again. A narcissist usually enjoys it. They get dopamine release from your pain and suffering. Your pain and suffering feeds something in them. So if you would see enjoyment, that is dangerous and usually requires an immediate exit plan that might even need a lawyer and maybe some professional services. Now, here's what to expect as you go forward from here. When a woman starts doing her nervous system work after leaving or even during the process, the realistic timeline is a few months at minimum before she even starts feeling like herself again. But there's a very critical piece here. It strongly depends on who's around you. Most narcissistic abusers isolate from you on purpose. They want to control you independently so no one else can intrude or take you back away from them. You are a very useful tool that they don't want anyone else to pick up, move around, break, or just make inconvenient to get back again. The more that you get integrated with family and friends who are good and safe, again, mindful that your family may have created this in you, but healthy people that care about you, people who love you, the faster you will be recovering from this and grow into your actual self. If you don't reintegrate with other people, you will probably stay stuck for most of your life until you do. Your nervous system will probably say something internally like, I came out of that relationship having learned that other humans painfully, agonizingly traumatize me and make me suffer. It's never good enough. I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. I don't believe anything will ever be safe again. That's your nervous system. You have to recalibrate those beliefs through positive, loving experiences with other human beings. That's trauma recovery. It's experiential learning that you can actually be safe and loved again. You have to contradict those beliefs from experiences with better experiences that prove it's possible. When you do that, you will progressively begin to feel better as you go. There's usually a grief process here. Then it takes time before you feel safe with other people again, but it happens. If you're going to stay, I'm going to be direct with you. If you're staying in the relationship for kids, finances, whatever the reason, you can do your nervous system work while you're living in that dynamic. But it's often dangerous and tough. You have someone continuously, aggressively attacking your nervous system. Here's what you're going to need if that's the process. First, you will have to have healthy relationships outside of that dynamic. You are in biochemical starvation and endlessly attacked. You need your needs met somewhere. 2, a very strong, resilient support group or community. Friends who enhance your confidence. People that remind you you are okay and that you're safe. People who believe in you so you can have the strength to start pushing back on this one person. 3 is legal protection. Once you start pushing back on real narcissistic abusers, they usually start doing either illegal things or taking legal maneuvering against you. You're going to have to be prepared for that. The 4th thing you're going to have to need is complete emotional detachment. You have to become so resilient against their opinion of you that you completely detach from any and all feelings toward them. And that requires you to stop engaging with them in any kind of good modes. When you want their connection and crave it, you can't have it. No more sex, no more physical contact, no more hugs, no more dinners together, no more conversations, no more closeness, no more intimacy, no more cooking for them. Complete shutdown of the relationship is what we're talking about. You will live separately under the same roof. Otherwise, they keep getting back in, getting you addicted again. I know this is hard. When women come into my coaching practice and say, Adam, I want to know what to do, and I guide them through this, they viciously refuse to do it. Those are the only times they feel good after all, and they are addictive. It requires a lot of support, a lot of guidance. It requires people who understand what you're actually navigating. Now, again, back to the beginning of this video. Your nervous system is keeping score. Every day you stay in this cycle without support, the score gets higher. But your nervous system can also learn something new. They can learn that safety exists, that calm is possible, that you can be yourself without being punished for it.
If you're ready to stop figuring this out all alone, if what I'm describing sounds like your life and you want to stop it, I want you to know something very important. You don't have to figure this out all alone. Now, most people will watch this video and then they're going to go right back to what they've been doing. More books, more podcasts, more processing alone. Nothing will change. They're going to wait for that next good day that he has. The people who transform themselves and break free from this are the ones that get relational reps in with real guidance and accountability. That's exactly what happens at the Relationship Mastery Intensive. This will be 3 days of real skill building with other people who know exactly what you're going through. You will practice everything I talked about today and go so much deeper. That event will take place April 23rd to the 26th, here in
2026 down in San Diego, California. Spots are very limited and reserved only for those who are absolutely serious about breaking these patterns forever. The link's down in the description below. Now, if you've made it this far, I also made a video you need to watch on the neurochemistry of proper bonding, how men and women actually attach differently, and why understanding that changes everything for you. That video is on the screen now. I'll see you there. Like and subscribe so you don't miss any video. Thank you for watching.